Welcome back to the Competitor Talk. This is your host, Kyle Dangler. This podcast is presented by Lad Creative Works, and today we're very fortunate to be joined by Oakland Athletics catcher Dustin Garneau. He was originally brought up by the Colorado Rockies after being drafted by them in the 19th round in the 2009 MLB draft. Then he went over to play for the Athletics, White Sox, and Angels before going back to his second stint with the Athletics. A few days ago on August 3rd, he was claimed off of waivers by the Athletics after being designated for assignment right after the trade deadline by the Angels, or I should say right before, on July 31st. So we're going to be talking to him about his time, through the minor leagues, how he chose baseball. He also played football, how he chose baseball over football, and, talking about the wild card race right now, which is very prevalent for the Athletics being a half game out of the wild card standings right now, trailing behind the Tampa Bay Rays. So we're going to be talking to him about how he controls his staff and, how he's going to help contribute to the Athletics as they make a push for the playoffs this year. So it's going to be an awesome talk with an awesome player. So give him a call right now. We'll get going. He's currently on an off day in Chicago for the White Sox tomorrow.
Hello?
Hey, Dustin, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. So thanks for coming on the show. We'll just get right away started if you're ready, and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So I just wanted to start off with, before we talk about, your current status, with the Athletics, just going through the minor leagues and, choosing baseball, back when you were a young teenager. I'm just curious, you also, just reading up about you also played football, and then you decided to, continue baseball through college and obviously the pros now. Just curious, what kind of drew you towards baseball?
I've always played baseball and football growing up. It was the two sports that really attracted me the most that I pursued. And then in high school, I was actually more off on the football side to keep playing, and I was really signed to go play at a junior college out of high school for football. The last month of my senior season in baseball, Fullerton came knocking and offered me a scholarship, and that kind of led the way to where I chose baseball over football.
Yeah, so, just going through, choosing, baseball in college and then, getting drafted by the Rockies. I mean, was this something that, you planned on, as a teenager, your goal was the major leagues, or did you just think you were going to college, play baseball and then, go into the real world after that?
No, I was trying to pursue it as long as I possibly could because I love playing sports and I love all aspects of it. So you never know you're going to play in the big leagues, but it was definitely a goal of mine that once I started playing sports that I was trying to pursue.
Yeah, awesome. So, just going through, college, getting drafted by the Rockies in the 19th round, I'm just curious, did they pick you your junior year or your senior year?
My senior year, I was a senior sign.
Okay.
My junior year, I had teams talk to me, but nothing ever panned out from it for the draft.
Yeah, I was just curious, if you had to, go back to school, afterwards, because we've talked to other players that, get drafted as a junior and, have to make that tough decision. So I was just curious, what you had to do there. So, just going through your time with the Rockies, battling your way, through the minor leagues. We talked to a lot of players, have a lot of different opinions about the minor leagues, grueling, going on bus rides, having to play at some ballparks that aren't the best. Just going through that, did that kind of humble you, going through all of that, now being in the major leagues?
Yeah, it was humbling is a very good word to use. And it's not what you expect when you go to professional baseball, especially the places you play and some of the spots you play in and how the travel is. I think the travel was probably the most eye-opening thing, is how grueling bus rides can really be, and then the parks aren't even close to the best, especially going from college where you play in some really nice baseball parks.
Yeah. So, just going through, you mentioned college, that transition to pro baseball, besides the fact going from metal to wood, was there any other struggles that, you had to come, to reality with and try to face, early on in your career?
Hitting was always, I was never drafted upon because I had a really good baseball stick kind of deal. So I had to always learn how to be a better consistent hitter. So but the metal to wood never really was the biggest thing. It was just learning how to be a productive hitter at a professional level pretty much, and then learning how to translate that into playing every single day compared to college where it was just 4 games a week sometimes.
Mm-hmm. So, just going through, college and now being in the pro baseball world, just, before we go into your major league career, getting, going through all the, levels from, short season, all the way up through AAA, just curious, did you see, any progression, from yourself, but also, the other players going up the ranks? I mean, did it get tougher and tougher for you personally?
Yeah, because everything's a little crisper the higher up you go. Pitchers start throwing strikes a little more. Their off-speed stuff's got a little more bite. Their fastball's got a little more ride. So everything was a little progression that way. Then when you start getting to like game calling as a catcher, it becomes more of a chess match than just having my pitcher throw whatever he wants out there kind of deal. So that's kind of how the learning progression goes for professional baseball wise, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know. Just talking to other people, that especially major league pitchers, they always talk about having that chess match, with the opponent. It's really kind of one-on-one aspect where it's you against him, and just watching film. I don't know. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Film and spin rates, are definitely key to helping build success. So I just wanted to talk about your career, just, getting called up with the Rockies back in 2015, but when we talk to everyone, in the MLB, we always bring up, their first moment when they get the call up and, they talk about how special a moment it was. For you, I mean, do you want to just, take us through the process, what it was like for you to find out, and, once you got there?
Yeah, absolutely. We were leaving, we were in AAA leaving Nashville driving to Memphis. It was or Memphis driving to Nashville, about a 3.5 hour drive, and then me and a couple guys were in the back of the bus hanging out, talking and stuff, and then my manager went over the bus microphone. He said, "Garneau." I said, "Yeah." So I stood up and was going to go to the front of the bus to talk to him because he usually did that on some of the bus rides. He's like, "No." He's like, "You're going up to the big leagues. You just got your first call up." And the bus erupted. It was pretty surreal.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just talking about, that's a moment that I'm sure, you'll never forget. So, just going through, being with the Rockies and, going through a couple of different organizations. I mean, before we get into, your current status with the Athletics, just, seeing, you go, being claimed off of waivers, being designated for assignment, just going through a couple of different teams. I mean, is it a tough process for not only you, but, your family and loved ones, go from, different cities and also, have to perform at a high level?
Absolutely. The designated and getting option part is probably the hardest part because once you think you made it to the big leagues, you're at the place you want to be, you've always trained for, then it's like, oh, well, we got to send you back down or we got to get rid of you and stuff like that. So that's another aspect of it stuff that was really tough to do. And my wife, she's right there along with me. She's been with me since day one for it. So she is right there with me dealing with it just as I would. So that's kind of tough. Yeah, definitely hard.
Yeah, I mean, does your family, travel with you? Not, on road trips, but, are they moving from, city to city with you based upon, where your home, team is? Or do they, are you gone from them for a while?
Yeah, we're gone. But being with the Angels, I was living at home because my house is literally 5 miles from the stadium, so that was a perfect situation. Yeah. But whenever I'm gone, like last year was really tough because I was in Nashville on Charlotte, so I was gone pretty much the whole season with them being separated. And I would have to fly back on off days and take red eyes back out to just be able to hang out with my kids and my wife. So that's the hardest part about the minor league grind.
Definitely, yeah. Just talking to other players too, they have the same thing, going from city to city, not only for yourself, but, your loved ones, it's kind of, tough to, go through that every year.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the hardest part, man, that people understand is that they see the glamour of the big leagues and stuff, but minor leagues and being gone from the family, it takes a toll sometimes.
Yeah. So, just going through, the different, teams you've been with, now ending up back again with the Athletics. I just wanted to talk real quick, about your time with the Angels, because even though it was short, one of the memorable moments for you personally, catching that game where you guys threw the no-hitter in the, a few weeks ago, especially, celebrating Tyler Skaggs' memorial life there, that must have been pretty special for you guys. But, just being a part of that for you, I mean, was that something that, was going to always stand out for you in your career?
Absolutely, man. I mean, it's still surreal, and I don't really know how to explain it because of all the stuff that happened and went on for us to throw a no-hitter that night, and then all the numbers that came out after that about, like, the Trouty's homer and everything that came out after it. It's still, I really don't know how it happened and what happened, but I know that we threw a no-hitter that night. It was unbelievable. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, just going through, I don't know if you personally, have caught another no-hitter either in high school, college, or, in the minors. But,
the first one.
First one. So, when did you kind of know, in the back of your mind that, you had a chance to, catch a no-hitter? I mean, was it like the 7th, 8th inning that you kind of, got the feeling that, there's a possibility?
About the 7th inning, it was like, okay, I kind of understand there's no hits going. The 8th inning was like, oh man, this is getting real. And then the 9th inning was like, all right, just don't mess this up. Get every out you can. And then you don't really believe it's going to happen until it actually happens because of how hard baseball is. So once we got that third out, then it was like it kind of hit us all like right in the face.
Right, yeah, definitely. That's just probably going to be one of the greatest moments that, in Angels franchise history, but also, of this, year looking back on it, it's going to something that definitely pop out, and it's awesome that, you could be a part of that.
Absolutely, definitely, it will be.
Yeah, so, just going through, you were with the Angels, and then now you're back with the Athletics, just reading up about you, something that stood out, especially just reading for the Athletics was that, you changed your approach at the plate, just for, a shorter, more compact swing, especially when you hit the walk-off against them earlier on this year. Bob Melvin, your manager, now, praise how well, you've been doing offensively and, making adjustments. I mean, was that something coming into the season that, you were trying to work on, what you're hitting?
Yeah, it always is. That's probably one of the biggest things why I haven't really stuck in the big leagues is my consistency at the plate. Then the Angels had their hitting coaches that were like basically sat me down, broke my swing down, compared me to other the better hitters in the league, and I saw the glaring deficiencies in my swing, and we fixed that mechanically, and that mechanical, very small adjustments you probably really can't tell on TV, but that are like huge to me, that really calmed me down and I'm able to see pitches better and be able to swing at pitches more comfortably than I want to, and that's been probably the reason that I've had a little more success this season at it.
Yeah, so, just going through, obviously, pitch selection is a huge part of it. But, mechanically in your swing, you just said, maybe the people at home, don't specifically see, the adjustments you made. But what did you specifically do? I mean, did you keep your arms, closer to your body, more like a Mike Trout? I mean, what did you do to, kind of implement the success you're having?
Yeah, just try to do whatever Mike Trout does and just do it every time. No, but it's basically, it has a lot to do with the way my hips and my shoulders were aligned at the plate, and keeping everything more square to the pitcher, so that when I are able to swing, I want everything going more forward in the most efficient way possible, and not kind of in and out of the zone as to where I was in the past. Definitely.
Yeah. So just before we talk about what your expectations are for this A's team, coming down, the pipeline towards the end of the season. I just wanted to ask you, because we haven't had someone on the show yet that, has been teammates with Mike Trout. I just wanted to, pick your brain just to know how is Mike Trout, on the field, but also off the field? Because, I'm sure people listening, want to know how, he is around, the teammates and, how he is also on and off the field.
He's one of the best dudes I've ever played with. And I'm not lying or trying to fabricate anything. He literally is a unbelievable person, and then on and off the field, the guy works harder than I think anybody I've ever seen. He's literally the first guy at the field every day. I try to beat him sometimes at the field, and he's always there. Seriously, he gets treatment early. He's there, and then he's the first guy in the batting cage, and he works on his swing more than anybody that I've seen, and he's the best player he might be the best player in history by the time the end of his career happens.
Yeah, so, I saw the other day, a few weeks ago in Los Angeles at Dodger Stadium, he threw that bullet to you at home plate. Just, going through spring training and stuff, I mean, did you see him working on, his throwing accuracy and also strength? Just because, that's kind of been one of the things that people have pointed out about him that maybe he was lacking in. But, just seeing that play, it's kind of, it caught people's attention that, you catching that ball, making a great tag, has led to more of his success defensively.
Yeah, I don't know if he worked on it as much as people think, like in spring training. For him, he's been playing every day during the season, so spring training is more for him to get his legs underneath him. But he works on strength and all that kind of stuff just to maintain so he's able to play 162 games for the season, and that leads into him having the arm strength and everything that you see day to day. So that's a big thing for him in spring training, is just getting his legs underneath him, getting him ready for a season, and he consistently has an approach to be able to do that either offensively or defensively to maintain during the season.
Yeah, definitely. Something that, people were mentioning that maybe he was lacking in, but, just being such a great offensive player, and I think people just try to, point out stuff that maybe doesn't need to be pointed out. So,
Yeah, you try to find the
yeah,
flaw in
yeah,
Superman's cave.
yeah. So, I just wanted to get back to you because, being in Los Angeles, with the Angels, just even though it was such a short time for you, just people, the respect that you gained there, and also, you were one of the fan favorites there. Having to leave there, go back to Oakland, even though, I'm sure you're happy to be back in Oakland. I mean, was it tough for you to leave the Angels this year?
Yeah, it was because it was off. I enjoyed. I loved all the guys there, the coaching staff, the players. It was. I had a really good time with them, and then also I was able to live in my own house and play when we were at home games. So that was another reason why it was a blast playing there. But the Angels organization was one of my favorites I've ever been a part of. They were really great people there, and great coaches and players. But now back with the Athletics, it's this team four for the one. So it's gonna be a blast coming down to the end.
Yeah, so just going through, your everyday grind of, being a catcher, obviously you have to worry about, your offense and, being able to, block balls. But, just behind the scenes, I'm curious, just because, you're the first catcher that we've had on the show. Just, we've had a lot of pitchers and, infielders, outfielders, but the first catcher that, we get a chance to, pick your brain. Just off the field, I mean, behind the scenes, are you a guy that, watches film on all the, opposing hitters the day before, to get ready for them to, know, where you want the ball to be, at, with certain batters? And then do you also look at, your pitchers' film to, see their arm slot? So, maybe during the game, if they're a little off, you can go out to the mound and visit them. I mean, how do you prepare for the game behind the plate?
Yeah, I enjoy watching video, and usually if whoever I'm catching, I want to go back and watch if they've ever faced a team we're about to face, so I know what they did before. Also, I want to know who's hot in their team for the last 10, 12 at bats, just to see where they're hitting balls, where they're hammering balls, where they're missing balls, so I have an idea where I can go with my guy in the game. So I'm not just learning on the fly. I have at least some sort of an idea to get a guy out or to get my pitcher through a game of where I can go at least.
Yeah, so do you do that the day before, before the game, the day of? I mean, how do you prepare to, go into that?
It's usually, if I don't play the day before, that's when I do a lot of my stuff.
Okay.
And then we'll talk. So say for me, with Tanner worked the other day, I never caught him before. And I just sat down with him the day before the game and just had him go over, because he faced the Cardinals for 3 or 4 times. We just talked about how he attacks guys, how he wants to attack guys, and kind of went from there. So we have an idea for the next day. And then the next day during of the game day, our pitching coach, the pitcher, and me will sit down, we'll go through the whole lineup and have an idea going into the game.
Yeah, so, just going through that, you mentioned with Tanner, going through, film with him, and you're making sure you guys are both on the same page for the game. Being back with the Angels, something that stood out was, the ERA that you had, with the starting pitchers being lower than, the opposing catchers on the team. And then, going over to Oakland, having to deal with a new pitching staff. Is it something that, is challenging going from pitching staff to pitching staff, getting used to new guys? Or is it something that, being with, different minor league teams and different organizations that you're more comfortable with now?
It's always you don't want to say struggle, but it's
challenge.
It's definitely a challenge. Learning how you want. Luckily, I've got most of the guys on this staff when I was here last time, but learning guys, it's all about for them is being comfortable, trusting me, calling the right pitch, because if they're not comfortable in that, then it's gonna be a long day of shaking and going back and forth kind of on the mound. Kind of how yesterday when I caught Homer Bailey, we weren't on the same page for not a decent amount of the game, so it was kind of frustrating because I don't want to have him out there not trusting I'm putting down the right fingers.
Yeah. So, just going through that, when there's something off, I mean, is it something that, you go back to, after the game and, you sit down with the pitcher, or even, you sit down by yourself or with the pitching coach, and, you try to work through, to prepare for next time?
Definitely. Maybe not right after the game. I'll go over my thoughts about where we kind of went wrong and what we could have done better. But then today, or went off the day, but tomorrow, I'll have more of a discussion with him and say what are your thoughts, what are my thoughts, and we can at least hash some stuff out before the next time I have to catch him.
Yeah, so, just going through that, talking about, watching film and preparing, but also having to, prepare, by, I'm sure, hitting off the tee, taking beat before the game. But something that I'm sure is also behind the scenes involved with the filming aspect is, you blocking balls, preparing to, catch. I mean, do you do any certain drills before the game to, just kind of loosen up and, get your groove kind of going for the game?
Yeah, I have a routine where it's just basically I have receiving drills, I have my throwing drills and my blocking drills to kind of lube it up before I get ready for game time. So it takes about 20 minutes. It's nothing too crazy, but it's just all basic stuff to get my hands, my hips, and my legs ready for the game time that's about to come.
Yeah. So do you, take into a lot of consideration into your preparation how quick your transfer is from yourself to second base or third base or even first base? Is that something that you look at, or just being through the different organizations and being a veteran, you kind of just trust yourself now?
It's gotten more to where I can trust myself, to where I know if my mechanics are right, I'm going to make a good throw. It's just when my mechanics get a little out of whack, or I try to rush a throw too much, that's when things get a little out of whack. But as of now, when I look at my throws, all I'm looking for is me getting squared up to second base, and if my throw's on line, that's all I really care about, because I've done it for so long.
Yeah, definitely. So, I just wanted to talk about, your hitting, because, with the Angels, they talked about, how you were kind of coming into your own hitting, and then, being designated, but then being claimed off of waivers, on August 3rd with the A's, and, having your first series go around against the Cubs, and, having a great series, with a couple, you had a home run and the game-winning double the night before. Just curious, is it kind of, the new scenery that, it's kind of, getting you into your own hitting wise, or is it just trying to continue keeping the success and keeping with the progression of your hitting new skills?
Yeah, just what we talked about earlier about the stuff that I'm working on, and just keep continuing to do that, and then just that leads into comfortability in the box. And because if I try to do any more or less, it's just going to go bad. All I can do is control what I can control in the box, be comfortable, take good pitches, and swing at good pitches that I want to swing at. And if I do that, I know I'm going to be more successful than not. And that's what I've been able to do, at least more than not this season.
Yeah, so, just watching film for yourself, going into hitting, I mean, do you watch film, on the opposing pitcher, the night before, the day of, just kind of get a feel for, what their stuff is like? Or do unless you haven't faced them, then, you go to the film? Or do you always watch film? Or, if you have experience, you just kind of, go with your gut feeling and, trust yourself?
No, I try to watch film on all the starting pitching, either the day of or the day before, just to get an idea of what his fastball looks like, what his off speed kind of does, and where he tries to attack most hitters, whether it's be righties and whether it's guys on base, guys off not on base, and at least have some sort of an idea before I go in. I don't want to go in blind ever.
Yeah, so, just going through that, watching film on the opposing pitcher, and having to watch film, for your pitcher going into the day before the game or even the day of. Just curious, when there's a pitching change on the opposing side and, a reliever comes in, obviously, I'm sure you don't have time, run down to the tunnel, watch film. But is there, scouting reports that you guys look at, before you go up that, you can kind of get a brief rundown of, who they are and, what their stuff is like, where they like to go in the zone?
Oh, yeah, we got iPads in the dugouts that's got everything videos for us, so we can watch 10 at-bats in a minute before we go to the home plate, so at least know what he has and know what he can do. So the information we have in the big leagues, it's ridiculous. It's second to none.
Yeah, I just wanted to, just talk about that, hopefully before the show's ending, but now since you just brought it up, being, in the league, even in the minor leagues for quite a while now, about a little over 10 years, just curious, the technology aspect of the game, how have you seen it, develop and change, from since you started to, where we are now?
It's ridiculous now. I mean, guys, we have reports on reports for reports, and there's video for everything. If I want to know what a guy throws in every 1-1 count this year, I can literally pull it up and see what he's done, or I can know where he's struggling, where he's throwing the best pitches, his worst pitches. Like, it's the information. It can literally sometimes be too much, so you have to kind of sift through what you want and what you need.
Yeah.
But the information there is now, it's ridiculous.
Now, are you someone that, even on the defensive side, if there's a rough inning or, something that you didn't like about, the pitch selection or, the placement of the ball with the pitcher, that you'll sit down, when you guys are in the dugout and watch film? Or even, if you have a bad at-bat, you go to the film, watch what you did that maybe mechanically you didn't feel was right? Or do you just kind of, just watch film, just when a new pitcher comes in?
Not so much for my pitcher. I don't watch film for that. But if I have an at bat where I was like, man, I felt weird, something felt off, I'll go back and watch film. But for my guys, it's more like just talking. We sift through it ourselves and go from there.
Yeah, so having that technology, I'm sure is very helpful and prominent in the game now. But just talking about having the specific eye of your hitting coach and your manager, how much do you trust the technology as opposed to trusting the hitting coach? Maybe if they see something wrong. I mean, what's kind of your initial reaction to go back in the dugout? I mean, do you talk to your coach first and then look at film, or do you kind of just do a combination of both?
Usually a combination of both, but more towards my hitting coaches in the film, because I want an extra pair of eyes to see at least to put something to what I'm thinking. Maybe I'm seeing it wrong, so I can collaborate with him at least. And especially if you trust your hitting coach, I'm always going to go to him first before I go to the film.
Yeah, because just I'm sure you would say the same thing. Having your hitting coach there, even though the technology is beneficial, having someone there that you can trust and has been through it with a bunch of different hitters, I'm sure is more reliable and more trustworthy for you to get their opinion.
Absolutely, especially make a little adjustment. I can see like what I did, but maybe I'm not seeing the cause for the bad swing, and he can. So I want to get his info first before I start going out there and doing all that kind of stuff myself.
Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of wrap up towards the end of the interview. Just being with the A's now, going from division rivals cross town, from the Angels to the A's, and, now. That not that the Angels aren't in the wild card race, but now that you're kind of in the thick of things, being a half game out, what could the expectations be for yourself, for the team that fans should expect?
Yeah, just know that the A's are going to be. We're playing hard every night. We're here to win some games and to make the wild card race, because this team's young, but man, we can freaking play some baseball. We got some good talent. We got some good pitching too. So it's gonna be fun runs these last 2 months.
Yeah, so just going through, obviously you have a few new faces in the pitching staff. Sean Manaea, I'm not sure if he'll be back in time for the postseason if you guys make it there. But just going through the rotation, having Fires, Anderson, Roark, Bassett, and Bailey, those 5 guys, even though one of the 5 might not jump off the charts per se, they all are consistent guys that going out there, you have a legitimate chance at getting the chance to get the win. I mean, is that something that you guys take comfort in?
Absolutely, because starting pitching is the way you're going to win. Offense will get you there, but the pitching and defense is going to take you over the top, and our pitching is going to be pretty good once everything starts clicking for sure.
Yeah. So just going through, do you watch, other teams' games, after your game, or do you look at the standings a lot? Are you a guy, that does that? Or are you kind of a guy that, just worries about taking care of your business on the field? I mean, how do you, approach, keeping yourself, in check, mentally, but also, kind of, trying to know where you are also?
Yeah, it's still too early to be standing and worry about where the standings are and stuff. So right now it's just what we can do and what we have to do ourselves. So maybe later when it comes down in September, we'll start looking at that stuff, but right now it's just about playing baseball.
Playing in the Coliseum now, there's a lot more, ground, on the sides of the, third base, first base, kind of, out of play area, but, also behind the plate. So, going into that, is that something that you guys, feel, being the home team, you have, to a benefit for yourself?
Yeah, because when you first come into the Coliseum, you don't realize how much foul ground it is. You kind of forget that you have to actually run a little further than what you're usually used to, and have to track down a couple more balls than you usually use at most other parks, because the foul ground is so big at our park, and so it's so vast. I mean, it's my first time playing there. I was like, wow, I really got to make sure I'm backing up every ball, because there's some huge territory.
So, going through that, backing up, I mean, is that something that, you take pride in, going to, back up first base and, even like third base on, pass balls per se, that even though they don't happen a lot, the few times they happen, you kind of, pat yourself on the back and, you're thankful that you were there?
Yeah, it's part of my job. So if I don't do my job, it's going to get exposed when I don't miss it. So it's just being a professional and knowing that I have the spot to go into wherever the ball's at, and if I'm not there, the guy's going to get the extra base, and it's going to be on me and no one else.
Yes, I just kind of wanted to, wrap up, the final question. We just talked a little bit before about, you talking about the expectations that, fans and, people outside of the clubhouse should have on the team. But, being around a couple of different organizations, being with a lot of different teams in the majors and minors, college, high school, all over the place. I mean, what is this clubhouse feel? Do you feel that you guys are gelling at the right time, trying to make a playoff push now? I mean, is there something there that, people on the outside don't see, but, in the clubhouse, you guys are clicking together?
Yeah, this is one of the more fun clubhouses I've ever been a part of, because these guys they're young for the most part. They're hungry. They joke around every day, but when game time comes, it's game on and they're playing. So it's a blast with these guys here. So,
just talking about that, I mean, how important is that for you? Obviously the on the field, most important, getting the win, but, how important is it for you guys to, gel and, bond off the field and, have that, trust in each other?
It's huge. When I was here in 17, it was the end of the year. We weren't very good. It was like we lost like 90 games or whatever. But I told my wife and everybody in the offseason, I was like, this team is going to be good next year and make the playoffs. And they, not to toot my own horn, but they did. And the only reason why I said that was because the clubhouse atmosphere they had was something I haven't experienced before. They were a bunch of dudes that were just hungry to play baseball and play it the right way and win some games.
Yeah, so, I just wanted to, just ask real quick, before we let you go, being, kind of the catcher that, has been, more known as defense. And, I'm sure, you've been, playing as a starter now and then also, being the backup. But, just for, everyone on the Oakland Athletics team that, kind of goes to that role of, being a backup and a starter, going back and forth between, certain spots. I mean, is it something that, you guys struggle with, that, you're not playing as much, getting the reps? Or is it something that you guys, kind of take pride in, making sure that you're ready to go?
You have to make sure you're ready to go. I mean, it's definitely a struggle from going from the minor leagues, where you're playing basically every day almost, to going to be in a big league backup, especially for me as a catcher. When you're like a real backup, you're playing once, maybe twice a week. So it's the hardest part is learning how to stay fresh on the offensive side. That's because you're not seeing live pitching as much as you used to. So doing that, taking your at-bats, just being ready for whenever it happens, because it was a struggle for me at first. So to learn how to do that the right way, because I was used to playing 3, 4, 5 times a week, going down to like twice a week. So it's definitely a learning curve.
Yeah, I'm sure, for you, just getting the reps, I'm sure batting wise, because you talk about, making the adjustments, but also, having to catch, be part of every play, not getting that time, I'm sure is a little more difficult for you than, say, other positions.
Yeah, catching is not so much, because I can always catch bullpens. I always catch out the machine and do stuff like that. But the hardest part was the offensive side for me. Definitely was learning how to take at bats the right way when I haven't seen pitching in 3 days, and you're facing the best pitchers in the world and trying to have a good bat against them.
Yeah. So, I just wanted to, thank you for coming on the show. It means a lot to, get to talk to you. When you're one of the, MLB's, best catchers around, just being in the league and all. So, we just wanted to congratulate you and, on your success so far, in the major leagues. And, also, wish you the best of luck going down the wire. As September is right around the corner, you guys are trying to make a playoff push. Not to try to be biased, but, we're going to be rooting for the A's now just because, we got the chance to talk to you.
Awesome. Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, good luck, with the White Sox coming up, tomorrow. Wish you the best of luck, after that as well.
Thank you very much. It was fun being on this.
Thank you. Yeah, so, have a good rest of your day. We look forward to, hopefully talking soon.
Sweet. Thanks again.
Thank you. Bye. Yeah, so that was Dustin Garneau, Oakland Athletics catcher. So, we wish them the best of luck as they make a push for the playoffs. Half game back currently of the Tampa Bay Rays for the second wild card spot. And, they're right in the thick of things, which, game or two here or there, could definitely, solidify them a playoff spot if, we make a push down in September. Only 3.5 games out of the first wild card spot with the Indians, and being one of the three main teams in the push. With the Red Sox, 6 games out. They got a nice comfortable lead with them. So, being 7 of their last 10 winners, it's something that, hopefully they carry over the mojo, coming down through August and, September, especially with Dustin on the show, having a chance to talk to him and, a couple other guys so far in the major leagues, we kind of draw ourselves to, rooting for them and, watching them more often. So, I'm definitely going to, keep an eye out for him on the field, but also the A's. We wish him the best of luck, just for me personally, for the show, it's something that we're going to be watching and, rooting for Dustin and the Athletics. So, good luck to him, the Athletics organization, and, thanks for watching the podcast, and, have a good rest of your day.